All right, Nick, I will ask you if the Cavs find... I know that you never thought there was a problem, but based on what NBA fans think, do you think they think? Is it a collective thought that the Cavs are really trying to, at this point, turn things around?
I mean, I can't speak for NBA fans. I can speak for myself that I'm not in the business of turning around ships that are headed in the right direction.
Oh, okay.
So this is where the Cavs were always going to get to. Now, I am certain...
Now, you're not like Cam. You do realize what happened to the Titanic, right?
I do understand. I didn't say the Titanic. I said ships in general.
Okay, no problem.
Maybe talking about
full working ship.
Carnival Cruise Lines, owned by the owner of the Miami Heat, LeBron's former team.
Mickey Erickson, yes.
So, listen, this does not mean the Cavs will not have bomb performances in a bad way. They will. I mean, by the way, part of this 3-game winning streak, the most recent game prior to last night, was a game against the Knicks where they were awful for 3 quarters. But what the Cavs now know, and what I think everyone is realizing, is even without their second-best player, their second-best offensive player most notably, they have a top 5 offense in basketball. The Cavs right now have the 4th-best offense in the league, and their second-best offensive player that's playing is Kevin Love, and their 3rd-best is Kyle Korver. Like, they're going to get an injection of instant offense come January. The defense must get better. They cannot simply rely on LeBron going 31, 6, and 8 every night, but they can rely on him going 29, 6, and 8 every night, because that's about his season averages. So the Cavs will be fine. They were always going to be fine. The big moment for them this season, to me, was their last loss. They went to Houston. They played a really good game against an excellent team, and they played the type of basketball they're going to need to play to achieve their goals. They ended up losing that game, but since then, especially offensively, they've been a different team.
And that's what LeBron talked about. He talked about this 4-game window. Even though they've won 3 for the first time this year, things kind of made a turn in Houston. You know, they're starting to play better. They're starting to understand the personalities. They're starting to realize Kyle Korver is a huge part of what they're going to do. Dwayne Wade is going to pick his spots. Jeff Green is a huge pickup, or adding more athleticism to the team. J.R. Smith is playing better defense in this 4-game span than he had earlier in the season. And Kevin Love has been consistently getting 20 and 10. LeBron's playing more of the point guard. So they're starting to understand the characteristics for their team. He's got 7 new teammates, starting to understand what they can do, what they can't do. And in doing this, LeBron, because he's handling the ball more than any time in his career. He's going to have more turnovers. But as a defense, they are better, all right? Last night, they weren't great in the first half, but most of the shots were contested, and they really clamped down. I think they only gave up 40 points.
40 points in the second half. And I want to make this clear. Like, the Cavs' defense still is really bad. It's ranked last in the league, and even if you just take the last week and a half or so, it would be ranked in the bottom 6 in the league. So the defense isn't fixed, but it's trending in the right direction. And where you guys give me a hard time for being, I call it truth-telling about LeBron. You guys have different words for it. But one of the reasons you can have a top 5 offense without multiple all-stars, without multiple great offensive players, is because we showed in that highlight clip a pass LeBron James threw behind the back that hit the guy in the shooting pocket. He was driving to the basket, whipped it behind his back.
22 feet away.
And the benefit you get, and I think Kyrie is feeling this, one of the reasons his shooting percentage has dropped in Boston, not because he's shooting more. The benefit you get when passes are delivered exactly where you want them.
Yes, it's an underrated skill for guys who do pass and are good passers. Can they get it where you want to shoot it? And, I mean, LeBron is... It's phenomenal to watch him play. And it's phenomenal to watch how his game is evolved. And he's so efficient. You know, he's totally different than Jordan. He's totally different than Kobe. And he's totally different than the player he was 8 seasons ago.
I want to ask you about Dwayne Wade for a second, because the whole situation right now confuses me a little bit. He's averaging less than 9 points a game. They're not going to cut the guy. It's LeBron's best friend. But I don't understand. And you say, when you talked about Dwayne, you said he's going to have to pick his spots. But explain that to me a little more. Tell me a little bit more about his contribution and how he's helping this team.
No, he will have a role because he's a veteran player. He's a finals MVP. And when they get to the playoffs, Dwayne Wade will be big.
Okay.
Now, he needs the endurance of the regular season and also the overall chemistry, all right? There is not the emphasis on the regular season for a guy that's won multiple championships. He's trying to feel his way around.
Yeah.
He knows this is LeBron's world. He doesn't have the legs. He can't play above the rim the way he could. He's not the defender that he could. But a lot of these intangibles, when you get late in the season and in playoffs, when you get in a 7-game series, Dwayne Wade is a guy that you want on your team. He's not only one of the greatest NBA players of all time, but he's also one of the great teammates.
So I am maybe less bullish than Chris about Dwayne's on-court contribution potential late in the year. I think if they got one great playoff moment from D. Wade, one vintage 8-minute stretch where he scores 14 points and helps them win a game, they'd be happy with it. Wade is a guy who lived on his athleticism, never really developed an outside shot, certainly not a three-point shot, and now that athleticism is gone. Where Wade is incredibly valuable is the second thing Chris said. As a teammate, as a leader, and as a tone setter. LeBron, there are a lot of unfair criticisms about LeBron. A fair one is the guy is moody. The guy gets pouty. The guy gets in his feelings, and he sends out passive-aggressive Instagrams and tweets and Snapchats. It is very difficult to be on a level with a guy like that, to be able to check him. His coach can't do it. His GM can't do it. His owner can't do it. D. Wade can do it.
Okay.
Because they're best friends.
Yeah.
They're legitimately best friends. It is there is a benefit to, I think one of the best things about this television show, not to be congratulatory to us.
Is that we're best friends, me and you.
Agreed, that as well.
Awesome.
But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people that do these shows, they do the show, and then they don't, they only speak at work. We are all good friends, and I'm not being disrespectful to what you just said. Chris is probably my best friend.
Okay, you know what?
So, Jenna, hold on. Don't be upset.
Don't
be upset. Hold on a second.
Really
but
upset.
it's important to be able to, in any work environment, be able to have an off-the-air or off-the-court friendship to where you can say, hey, man, I didn't like this, or I did like this, or do more of this. You benefit from it when you have that comfortability amongst each other.
But it's easier to understand because you contribute a hell of a lot more than Dwayne Wade contributes. But I understand what you're saying about the relationship.
But this is the thing, too, though, Jenna. You can't forget their history.
Yeah.
All right? Like, they've been best friends before LeBron went to Miami.
Yeah.
Like, they were deciding they were going to go play with each other regardless. Like, they've been friends, him, Melo, Chris Paul, like they've been friends and had relationships that exist for a long, long time. Jenna, they're paying him the league minimum.
I know.
Okay? Like, this is...
And hold on, I'm confused. I think in that analogy, you thought I was Wade?
No.
Hold on, what happened there?
Just to recap, we're not best friends. They are best friends. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.